Blessings, beautiful crew. Welcome to our Wednesday session and coming to you slightly different time for me, but same time for you guys. So we're recording this in the daytime to get around to some issues that have been happening for me with doing evenings and to just make sure that this works. We'll see. So kind of start seated, team. Think about the kind of time that you're doing this. A lot of you are now picking these up at different hours of the day. So just kind of think, what's my day been like so far? What do I want to bring to your practice? What do I need? What does my body need? We're going to take some breaths just together and just kind of come into that space. The beautiful thing with this time of day here is you can hear the cicadas. So obviously it's already warm. It's already kind of 22, 23 degrees outside here. So if you're practicing and it's a bit cooler, make sure you kind of got a layer on. Keep yourself nice and warm. And we're going to breathe together. So we're going to drop our shoulders. And we're just going to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just think about the space that you're in, the place that you're in, that link into the earth, and that feeling of grounding yourself down into Mother Earth, however that makes sense to you. So I always like to imagine an old tree, an old swamp tree, or here in Napier, that's a coastal tree with its roots kind of going down but also spreading out. And just sitting in those roots, feeling them going down into the earth, my body connecting in. And with our breath out is the inhale of the tree. Our breath in is the exhale of that tree. And that link into nature, sometimes we can feel very much like we live in our minds, in our head. This gives us that moment just to sink into that space, sink into our breath. And so just be present to that. Notice, spend some time just noticing. We're going to open our eyes, we're going to notice the space that we're in. So it might be the plants, it might be the trees around you, depending on where you're practicing. We're going to inhale and take our arms up, and we're going to exhale and just go over to that left side. Just slowly feel the ribs. Inhale, come up, and exhale, take it over. Inhale, lift it up just before Monty knocks us over. Keep going over. We'll keep it nice and live, team. We'll just put the, there we go. Whichever side you're doing, we're going to do one more each side. Inhale, come up. Exhale over. He's giving me a look now. What? And bring it back to center. Come down slowly through that center line of your body, and then we're going to turn left. So we're going to come around and just into that twist. I'm going to hold it there, look over that shoulder, open the eyes as wide as you can. Find your breath. Notice your breathing, so notice that movement of your breath. The rib cage, the space between the ribs. Then coming around the other way, just going slow, reaching it round. A Monty hoof. And just noticing, so how's the body feeling? Where are the aches? Where are the areas that you want to work into a little bit deeper? How's your connection with your breath, with your body, with your eyes, opening them wide? And bring that back to center. And let's bring our feet, the soles of our feet, kind of together, opening up the feet a little bit. We can take our feet out a little bit wider so we don't tuck them in too close. We're going to lift up, and then we're going to just come slowly forward. And for some of you, forward is millimeters, others of you it's head on the floor. So just kind of notice, where's your body? Where do you feel that stretch? Breathe into that, let your body release and relax. And notice that space, that shape. And then we're going to drop right shoulder, head over towards that right knee. It's going slow, feeling the side of the neck open up. Let that left shoulder drop down. Then inhale up, just come up slow, exhale, take it the other way. Drop it down, let that head drop, let that shoulder go. Come up slowly and bring the feet in that little bit closer, so wander them in so that they sit in close to your pelvis. Take hold of your feet, let your knees come down and lift the chest up. So just come up slowly, bring the chest up. Take that breath there. Notice your breath. We might move our knees up and down. That might feel nice into your hips. If it doesn't, just leave them relaxed. So just kind of work out what's going to feel nice on my body as we start to warm it up. This is one of those ones that, you might have done at the gym and they're like flapping wings, whereas it's designed to be done really slowly to bring our awareness into the hip space. And then we're going to tuck our chin down towards the base of the throat. I'm just going to notice the back of the neck. So as it's still lifting up, it's like someone's got the scruff of their neck, lifting it up towards the roof. We're going to go the other way. We're going to bring the chin up. We're going to look up just slowly till we feel that little kind of stretch in our throat. Breathe. Tuck it back down. So bring that chin slowly in, nice and tight to the base of the throat. And again, lifting up slowly, just bring that chin up. And back to neutral. So we're going to leave our left foot tucked in like this. I'm going to move our right leg around and just kind of notice if this feels really awkward. Stretch that leg out in front instead. Okay, so we're making this zigzaggy shape. It's got all sorts of funny names in yoga practice, but for now we're going to come back to this at the end, but we just want to kind of sit with this. We're going to turn left. So the left knee, we're heading towards, and we're turning into a bit more of a twist. Try and keep the right hip down on the floor and just breathe into that. We're coming back to center and we're turning right. So we've got our legs staying the way that they are. Left hand onto that right knee, turning around. So doing the same thing if you've got your leg out in front. So give yourself that permission. This kind of right foot, if you've got that leg tucked around, can be tucked in or foot out. Kind of find what feels comfy-ish for your body. No pressure in these knees, so your knees should feel nice and light. Bring it back to center. I think you guys can probably hear that. You can tell that this is being filmed near the coast. So we're going to change our feet round. Beautiful seagulls. So again, just notice that the two sides might be different. We might be side saddle on one side, we might be hips up. There's all sorts that can happen. So just get yourself again comfortable. Again, that left leg can be straight out as well. I'm going to come into the twist over to that right side. So it's going to feel like we've just done this, but your legs are around a different way. Go around slowly, looking over that shoulder. Breathe into that. Then we're coming around slowly. We're going around to this left side. Noticing, what does that feel like in your body? Lots of twisting, lots of kind of releasing. If you've sat at a computer today, we're kind of working on getting that neck moving and that lift into the ribs if we've been a bit slumped. If you've been doing some lifting or whatever life has thrown at you today, I'm kind of releasing that tension out as we come back to centre. Yeah, so our legs are kind of interesting shapes so far. So we're going to stay with the interesting shapes and with being on the floor, and take our legs out that little bit further, so into that really wide diamond, so out in front. And we're going to lean down and around, find your feet, roll your shoulders down, start to bring your head down. Might feel different. We're kind of working up into the top of the IT band. Some of you, it's all in these inner thighs. Just kind of notice. Stretch it forward, tuck the chin in, let the head come down. Find your breath. And we're in that noticing, we're in that really deep noticing of what's going on in our body. So if it feels nice, take your feet and your hands, give them a wee rub. I had joked with a few of you that I was going to need a pedicure to go to the particular place we're going to be working. It's true, I had one. So, twinkly toes. And lifting up slowly from there, and we're going to come around and onto all fours, onto that thing. Let's not stand on ceremony 18. So we're on all fours. And we're going to go slowly. We're going to inhale, bring the chest forward, and exhale, cat-cow pose, just up, working along the spine. And just feeling into that space, that shape. Noticing, so really feeling that space along the spine, opening up. We've got a couple more. Just moving along the spine, just really feeling that sense of connecting in. Then you take our knees out to the edge of the mat and bring our big toes together. I'm going to pull back slowly into that frog pose of the child. Ease it out, wander the arms forward, get that stretch under the arms, feel that kind of lengthening out, bring the head down. Then we're going to come forward, crawling forward. And as the belly comes down, those feet are going to slide off the side of the mat. I'm going to come into our sleeping version of this, so lift up slowly. We're using it as a bit of a spine stretch, so kind of like a Sphinx pose team. Just lifting, feeling that spine ease out. Then we're going back the other way, so we can bring our hands down. We're going to come slowly back, bring the feet back in towards each other, roll it back. Bring the heart towards the floor, stretch away. Long, slow, deep breath. Then we're wandering forward again. So we're going to crawl forward on those forearms. As your belly comes down, those feet slide out. Back into that Sphinx. Cramp on one of my feet. Ooh, it's not fun. Turn your toes out, tame on your feet. So you're on the inside of your knees. Just lift along the spine, let the shoulders drop. Feel that stretch. Feel the breath moving. And again, we're crawling back, so bring the hands under the shoulders. Keep it low if we can, so that we can slide those feet back in. Slide the hips back towards the heels, wander the arms in, and then stretch out. Make a nest with the arms if that feels nice. Just rest there for a moment in the breath.
You're going to wander up and crow if you can. We're going to tuck the toes under and come into our cowherd pose. And coming up to this point is like, oh no, stay down in frog pose. Just kind of keep looking after knees and hips. We've got a few knees at the moment that are rather interesting in the cruise, so lots of looking after things. We can also keep our hands down to keep that balance, or we can reach our arms up and then come down through that centre line, hands to the heart space, and just pause there, find your breath. Your breath kind of drops, so really feel the breath dropping down. We can also, alteration, wander the hands down, the hips are going that way, we're still on the ball of our feet, but we're walking forward, deeper stretch into right around that rim of the pelvis area. Can feel quite nice. So find what's going to feel good for you, giving yourself those permissions to come in and out of the poses. And then bringing it forward, back to all fours. So meeting on all fours from wherever that found you. First down dog of today's class. So plank, heels press back. Find your breath. Give yourself that permission to come in and out of the pose as we lift our hips up, down dog. Heels ease their way down. Long, slow, deep breath. Then we're coming forward, we're going to inhale, come forward. Exhale, press the heels back. Sink into it. Then inhale, lift. Up through the hips, down through the heels, into down dog. Feel the breath. That little adjustment, that little tailbone lift. Feel everything wriggle so we get some releasing. Then inhale, come forward. Exhale, press those heels back. Bring the knees down. Wander the knees in a little bit closer to our hands as we turn these hands around, thumbs to the outside. Into our wrist stretch. Careful with it. Look after your wrists. Little softness at the elbow, so bending back towards you. Option here, stepping back into a plank or going back sounds really silly. So find where those energy levels are, but also that strength level is. Breathe. If you're in plank, press back through those heels. Make sure your spine feels really supported. Softness at the elbows, so we're not locking. And then knees come down and walk in if you are in plank. Hands turn around. If you can sit back on your feet, do. Otherwise, sit down into something comfortable. We're going to inhale, bring these up. So big release up. Link your fingers over to the left, opening up that space. Inhale, lift, and exhale, take it the other way, just slow. Finding your breathing. Bring it back to center, let the arms come down. Slowly reach around behind you, link the fingers, roll the shoulders down. Tuck your chin down towards the base of your throat. Big breath there. And then release those hands and relax. Give those hands a shake. Get to the second one. I'm going to work a little bit on what does it mean to have a soft elbow, because we don't mean floppy, okay? It more means that we don't want to lock it. So we're going to bring our hands back to here. If this doesn't feel good, do a normal plank just so you can feel what's going on. And for some of you, when we start to straighten our arms, the lock goes on in your elbow. So if you lift your chest, you'll feel a pressure in your elbow. And what we want is to just button back a tiny bit from that pressure so that we're not locking that joint and putting pressure on the tendons in it and the ligaments, but particularly those. Okay, so a little bit of softness, play with what it feels like. If you've got your hands around like this, you actually have to lean forward a little bit to get that softness. Not much. We're not going for the big bendy version. And if you're feeling okay, maybe a second plank, but just check in on what feels good. Breathe into wherever your body's at. If you're in the hands around the normal way, you might want to go into plank as well. Breathe. And then knees come down. Hands turn around if you've had them around that funny way. And we're going to take ourselves into either frog or down dog. So lift yourself slowly back. Long, deep breath, let everything stretch out. And same thing here, we don't want to lock our shoulders. We don't want to push with the arms, we want to lift with the hips. So feel the difference, give everything a push with the arms. Then a little bit of a buttoning off at the elbows and instead lift up through the hips. Let the heels drop down, just feel that difference. We're taking some of that pressure out of the arms. Amazing strengthener, but sometimes we're like, God. Lots of breathing. Kneeling on all fours. Take that left foot, step it up into a low lunge. Figure out where those arms are going to be. Are they to the inside or the outside? Drop that right hip a little bit. Just feel into that. And then bring the upper body up. Same so. Bring the hips around towards the front of the mat. I'm going to inhale, take the arms up. And then bring the hands down to the heart space for a moment. We're straight over that back knee, so we're not kind of lunged forward at the moment. We're over the back knee. We're going to take the arms out in front. We're going to bring our left arm, so left knee, left arm underneath. Right arm on top. Now, if you can't easily do that, give yourself a hug instead. Okay, so find which one of those. Otherwise, left fingers, right palm. Push the elbows slightly forward, lift the fingers up. And then, if it feels alright, we're going to sink forward into that deeper stretch. So feel it sinking in. Breathe. We're going to lift these elbows up. Lift these arms up. Breathe. Open up the breath. Make sure there's no pressure in the lower back. So we don't want to feel it in those SI joints, the rim of the pelvis. Hips are still around towards the front of the mat. Let the arms release. Bring these hands down. Wriggle that left foot up into tiger's tail. And stretch along the spine. Big deep breath. Ooh, we got the breath going on. Bring that knee down. Step the right foot forward. Ooh. Just start by finding kind of where those arms want to go. Hang out there for a couple of breaths. This one we are kind of lunged forward, so just breathe, find that space. Then we're lifting up and we're coming straight over that back knee. So we're starting out up high. This is kind of interesting, team, that that no, we don't always work on tightrope. I'm just going to watch this knee because we're working on the tram tracks, that it doesn't, my knee wants to wander in this morning. You can take those arms up, right arm underneath this time. Either the hug or up into the twist. Take a breath there, press the elbows forward, bring the fingers up. And then just come forward, check in. Make sure that feels alright to come forward. Breathe, lifting those arms. Sink a little bit. Check in with the hips, check in with that back. Let those arms come down. We're going back into tiger's tail, so wriggle that foot out and up. Oh dear. Lift through the spine, that foot's trying to reach the back of your head. Lots of breathing in there, team, lots of feeling into it. And bring that knee down. So we're going to go into frog pose, so knees out, big toes together. By now we might be feeling a little bit different in that hip space, so as you stretch back, kind of notice that, reach the arms forward, bring the belly close to the floor or down to the floor, bring the head down. Wandering the hands, oh, itchy nose. Bring the knees back together. We're going to come forward again. We're going to take this left foot forward again. This time we're coming wide on the mat, team. So come around slowly, turning the feet into that wide leg forward fold. Start with the hands off the mat and crew that, you know, where those hamstrings are like, oh, no, stay there. Those that can roll around the hips and drop down, let your head start to drop, shoulders start to release. Really let that upper body go towards the floor. Weight slightly to the outside edge of your feet, team. Then we're going to wander the hands up, and that left foot, we're just going to turn forward. So just come up slowly, foot that way, back foot still where it is. Look after your blood pressure. And initially, you just want to feel the hips towards that right side of the mat. So just going to make sure there's no pressure in that right knee. Just kind of coming around. Feel like there's some movement in your pelvis, so give your hips a wee bit of a wriggle. We're going to work with our arms first as well, so we're going to take our arms out wide from the shoulders, roll the shoulder blades down, reach out through those fingers. Just notice that we've done quite a bit of work to warm up the shoulders, so can we get that beautiful movement into the shoulder space. We're going to tip back, so right hand goes to the right leg, left arm, front arm lifts up. Feel that lift in the ribs, so lifting, opening, breathing. Take the gaze up to the fingertips if we can. We're coming back to centre, and as we do, we're taking our hips towards the back of the mat, and we're starting to reach forward over that front leg. But we want the hips to stay nice and centered on top of each other, so no tipping one way or the other. Just reach, breathe, find that breath. Take the weight slightly to the outside edge of your feet, just look after those knees. Lift it slowly back up into that stretch, so right hand back, left arm up. Breathe, take gaze up to the fingers. There, lifting back to centre, start to reach and reach and reach and reach and reach and reach, and then this time the left hand's coming down anywhere on that front leg. Right arm's lifting up, and our gaze is now going up to our right fingers if we can. Notice your breath.
Bring it slowly up, so we're coming up slow, let the arms drop down. Turn that front foot, that left foot, come back down into a forward fold. So just wandering around, that left leg should feel a bit different. As we drop around now, let the head drop, let the face relax. We're wandering to this front foot, so start to come around to the front of the mat, turning front foot, ball of the back foot. Bring that back knee down, wriggle out that left foot. Option of a tiger's tail should you feel like it. If you're thinking, ew, then come into frog pose instead, team. Then that left knee comes down, right foot comes forward. And we're lifting around into the forward fold, so start to turn your feet, lifting the hips, just find your way there. Drop your way down, long, slow, deep breath. Option here, reaching around with the arms, linking the fingers, reaching out towards the roof or the sky if you're lucky enough to be practicing outside. Let the arms come back down slowly. We're going to start to lift ourselves back up. And as we do, we're turning that right foot forward. So it's coming forward slowly. Woo! Let the stars align themselves. So first thing is hips to that left side of the mat. So feel like you're like, oh yeah, what do I need to do with my knees to make that feel alright? And we're going to take our arms up and slowly roll the shoulders down. Breathe into that space, so feel that kind of breath happening. Stretch out through the arms, so really starting to get some kind of openness under the shoulder blades. Then left hand's going back, left thigh, right arm's reaching up. Feel those spaces between the ribs, those muscles, intercostal muscles, serratus muscles under here. Just really kind of feeling that stretch up. Gaze going up to the fingertips if we can. Slowly back to that center point. So bring it back. Roll those shoulders down. We're going to reach forward. So this first one, remember we're not landing our front hand this time. We're just going forward, reaching out. Kind of find that shape. Legs are straight. We've got that breath going, so the start of triangle pose. Come up slow, left hand goes back, right arm lifts. Find your breath, find that reach. So we can be quite gentle or we can be really strong in these ones, team, in terms of those side muscles. Just working our way into the poses. Giving our body a chance to open into them as well, because sometimes we're rushing. Bring that back to centre, and as you do, start to reach again out over that front leg, and then just find that place for that right hand. Take that left arm up towards the roof, take your gaze up towards those left fingers. Weight slightly to the outside edge of your feet. Try not to lock that front knee. It's that leg straight, but we don't want to lock into it. Find your breath. Inhaling, coming up slow. Woo. Turn that front foot. Come down slowly into that forward fold. So ease your way down, starting to get that bit deeper, so hamstring crew, go gently.
Let the head drop, let the shoulders get nice and heavy. You're coming around to that front foot, we're turning and turning and turning until we're in that high lunge, low lunge. Wriggle out that right foot, tiger's tail if you're still feeling it. Long deep breath, lifting along the spine, kind of feel that shape, that body opening up. That knee comes down. We're finding our way. Might be a frog pose, might be a down dog. Just kind of check in. What feels good? Take it slow. Feel the changes in your body as your practice kind of continues. Little openings, little releases, little shifts and changes. Remember that lifting if you're in down dog, that lifting through the hips rather than pushing into the arms. We're coming forward. We're going to meet on all fours. We're going to wander our knees back into kind of a half plank so that we can bring the crease of the elbow forward, a little half chaturanga, so try and slide down the inside of your arms. If you can pause at just before the floor, do that. Otherwise, melt. Then we're all going to melt and we come into Sphinx. So remember, our poses kind of started with this shape. So we're going to roll kind of up along the spine. Feel that breathing. Beautiful cicadas singing outside. The sun is starting to pour into the house here. It's beautiful. Monty's had his morning walk, so he's KO'd in the kitchen. Walk, breakfast, done, all good. Dog's life team, such a hard life. From here, we're going to bring these hands down. We're going to roll ourselves back. So elbows out, chin tucks in. See if we can lift those hips and roll back. We're coming around to seated again. So find your way to that seated position. And remember this shape. So our left foot is tucked in and our right foot is there, or it can be out in front. Okay, so we're back to this. We're going to pop the twist in again. So we're going left first. And we just want to notice that there's maybe a little bit more freedom in that ribcage now and in the neck as we look over our shoulder. So breathe into that shift and change in your body. Come slowly around and over to that right side. And turn and look over that shoulder. Nice deep breath, so feel the breath really starting to deepen and release. Bring it back to center. And so this front foot, this left foot, we're going to lift it. So some of you just looked at the camera like, whatever. So you can just work with the foot on the floor, okay, to try and turn that sole of the foot, just stretching into that ankle. Those of you that can, you're going to put your right hand under your foot and just lift that foot up so that your foot's getting your ankle, outside the edge of your ankle is getting a nice stretch. Okay, so start there. What we want to eventually feel, team, and for those of you that find that even sitting like this is really hard work, go slow, okay? Eventually as the hips come down, this front leg gets a lot lighter, okay? It's easier to move. So we're kind of allowing for that. Those of you where it just kind of flings off the floor, you can bring it up into a half lotus shape. Okay, so land it near your hip and sit there with it. Okay, so breathe. Find the length along the spine. Side saddle crow, just relax. Just let your body kind of work out the shape. Make sure your knees feel alright. And again, leg can be out in front. We can do this with the leg out in front as well. So lots of options, crew. Always lots of options. If you've got your foot, give those toes a little few circles. Then circle them round the other way. And then bring that foot down. Okay, so we're going to change the feet round. So remember that left leg can go out in front or it can tuck around. We're going to go into the twist, so we're coming around to the right and just go slowly, look over that shoulder. And around this way, so around we go, over to that left side, just feeling it. Then back to center and this right foot. So those options, working with it on the floor, you know, just working into that foot, turning it slightly, playing into that space, just getting it off the floor, that left hand underneath it, find out what kind of movement there is. Can that hip move? Oh, where are you feeling it? Is that knee feel alright? If it doesn't, stop. There's all sorts of options. Then if we wish, we can bring that foot up, only if that feels like it's got an ease to it, team. So, you know, you can see the kind of, it's quite an intense stretch for that ankle. You don't want to be doing that if you're kind of slowly working your way out of injury. Those of you that have got some residual scar tissue in your ankles, and there's a few of you with that, you know, these kind of ones years on can feel like, oh, is that soft tissue damage still there? Yeah, there'll be scar tissue in, like, deep in your foot. And so we're just really slow with it. We kind of know we can get some more movement into it. We go slow. Again, toe circles if you can. And we're just noticing all the time. Changing direction. No, the practice needs to be for your body, not for anybody else's. So give yourself all those options. We're going to slide that foot down. We're going to take both our legs out in front. So find that, give those legs a little shake, especially if you've had your knees turn around. Give your butt a little wriggle. It feels better. Shake your feet. Okay, see if we can get our floppy feet. Those of you that aren't so sure about floppy feet, if you do that and you feel like you've got flippers, no, that are quite tight. We want to feel if we can get floppy. Can we relax? The other thing we can do, we want to see if when we shake our leg, so we relax our leg entirely, when we shake our leg, if our foot can go. The other side. Some of you are now giving me that look through your screen. That's okay. So from here, team, we are going to tuck our feet in, roll our shoulders down. Okay, so we're feeling like we've got that engagement in our core. So if having your feet tucked in doesn't feel good, you can also do this with your legs out straight. Okay, we're going to roll our shoulders down and we're just going to give ourselves some support, and we're going to check our lower back as we lean back. If your lower back goes, I've actually had enough, you're going to come into a forward fold instead. Okay, so go gently. If you're feeling all right, roll the shoulders down, maybe take some weight out of the fingers. If you've got your feet tucked in, walk them a little bit further and see if they'll come off the floor. Okay, so part one of the boat pose. Breathing, so notice your breath, bring your breath into it. Belly button pulled inwards a little bit, so we're not pushing our abs out, we're kind of squeezing in a little bit. Then down we go, soles of the feet together, rolling our way around, letting the head drop. Breathing into that space. So let go of whatever shape you're making, let go of it. Kind of go, oh. Check with your lower back. If it feels like it's kind of on that edge of having done too much, stay with something like this. Stay with a stretch. Stay with something that gets you relaxing. Otherwise, knees back together. Bring the hands kind of back just that little bit further. Walk these feet in. That might be plenty, team. So don't feel like you have to try and lift your legs and do all the things, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to leave our left toes on the floor and we're just going to stretch this right leg away. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, left leg stretches out. Strong crow, you might have both legs off the floor. Just see what feels good. Let's go slow with your breath. Exhaling out. Inhale as you pull in. Lots of breathing. Keep those shoulders down. Keep that chest lifted. So make sure we're not bunching up around our ears. One more each side. Bring that in, into that diamond. Collapse. Not quite collapse, but yeah, collapse. Stretch it gently forward, let that release happen. And then from there, try that again, take the legs out in front. Give it a shake. When I was thinking of starting to do it this way too, I was like, okay, don't get caught up on editing these though. They still need to be live, so you're still live in my dining room. So we're going to stretch our toes. Give your toes a wee wriggle. Then we're going to take our arms, we're going to reach ourselves up, but we're turning our hands. So start there, and then turn your palms up towards the roof as you lift. Breathe. Feel that in the shoulder space, so push those palms upwards. Take a breath into your belly. It's quite strong, so again, core engaged. And then bring those arms down and push out from the heart space, just slow. Feel those shoulders, feel that space under the shoulders. It's opening up. Again. Those of you that struggle with the wrist stretch that we did, this is a variation on it. Because if you look at what your wrists are doing, or if you're feeling that and thinking, I felt that today, we're going up, reaching up, and then bringing that down, and let it release. So crew, we're going to do a little bit of breath work, a little bit of connecting into the earth and into our breathing, and this is just because there's lots going on. We're going to come into cross-legged or open cross-legged, and some of you might be aware that it is a pretty significant anniversary here in Hawke's Bay, and that it is the day that Cyclone Gabrielle hit, and so it's a bit tender here in Napier. There's a lot of people in black and white and just kind of in that space. So we want to honour that today for me, but we also want to honour that there is a lot of really awful things going on in the world that might be affecting, our body. So take a moment just to notice where you're at with all of that, and that might bring up the, that's okay. Come in, okay? And then we're going to breathe out. And we're going to recognise that one of the things about practicing together, whenever you pick this up, okay? So it doesn't matter whether you are 6:30 on the dot, I'm going to push that, there goes the post, I'm going to push play, or whether it's whenever you pick this up, and wherever in the world you pick this up, that, where you are,
where you kind of come from into your body. We're practicing together. You know, there's a whole community that picks this video up, but there's that big wide yoga community as well that you're part of. So kind of notice that, let that come into this moment, that you are held in that space. And so just breathe, notice the space you're in, but notice the internal space you're in. And we're going to put our left hand over the centre of our heart, if that feels alright. And our right hand over and link our thumbs. Okay, so it's like giving yourself a hug. Let your shoulders drop. And at this point we can close our eyes, we can soften our gaze, we can just find a point in the room that we want to look at. I'm going to take a few breaths there, and we're just going to feel that sense of connecting into our heart space. Now, our heart in our yoga practice is not the seat of our emotions, okay? That's our puku. The heart is our interconnectedness with the world, with what's going on, with everything, okay? So it's where we are interconnected. It's again, when you think about what it does, it takes that blood and it pushes it right around our body. So it's that interconnectedness that we feel through our heart. And so just breathe into that for a moment. Come into just being gentle with yourself. And so first off, we're going to bring that gentleness to ourselves. Okay, so breathe into that gentleness. What ways and what parts of your life could you be more gentle to your body, to your mind, to your emotions, to your heart, to your soul? What does it need? And then we're going to let that gentleness flow through us like it's this beautiful river. And it's going to flow down through you into the earth. How can we be more gentle on the earth? Then that heart, we're going to think about our community. So start with your family. How can we be more gentle? Sometimes that's the hardest place to find gentleness and to find connectedness. So be gentle with yourself about being gentle with your family. I'm going to use that Ram Dass quote. Good, it comes in handy. If you think you're enlightened, go and spend a week with your family. But think gentleness, think compassion. You know, that's what is the heart of compassion, is this gentleness. But we're also not trying to achieve beautification, teams, so you're not trying to be a saint. You are human in amongst all of this. Then take this gentleness out another layer to your community. It might be your neighbours, might be groups that you're part of, all of the above. Imagine that gentleness flowing out through you, flowing through you. You've got to find it for yourself first. Put your oxygen mask on first, and out to your community. And then think of that beautiful energy of gentleness as this beautiful beacon, this beautiful light, multiply coloured. And imagine that you're holding that beautiful space for somewhere in the world that doesn't have it at the moment. So immediately I think of Rafa, or of the Congo. There's many other places, there's Ukraine, we're not very nice to each other, team. So this is that you're holding that space, that beautiful space, for that beautiful energy to return to those places, to support the little pockets of it, of gentleness, of care, of compassion. And you're breathing, so you're going to feel your breath under your hands, if your hands are still there. And one of the most beautiful things about practicing yoga in Aotearoa, so an Indian tradition in the lands of Aotearoa, is the word aroha. It translates as the breath of the heart. And ha in
Sanskrit is one of the many words for the breath, hence Hatha Yoga. And so that just that connection, that linguistic connection, but that heart connection, you are practicing aroha, the breath of the heart. And so bring that energy back into your heart space, to your awareness of your own gentleness towards you. And at this point, if you have a chance to spend some time meditating or contemplating, just let your hands relax down. You might want to do a shavasana, you might want to lie down, you might want to stay seated. Give yourself that permission, that time. And thank you for practicing with me. If you need to return, crew, if you need to come back, we're going to give ourselves a little squeeze with those hands on the heart space. And then we're going to let our hands come down into our lap. We're going to open our eyes. We're going to roll our shoulders down. And we're going to take our legs and we're going to just move them into a comfortable shape. Might be out wide, might be whatever shape feels good. We're just going to rock some gentle circles, awakening ourselves. Open your eyes, look at the beautiful space you inhabit, find something beautiful within it. You just rock those circles back the other way, just waking your body up. Think about the amazing practice that you've spent time with, that you've done for your body. Just those gentle, gentle circles. Bring it back to center and bring your hands down to the ground. Whatever shape you're making, find the ground. Roll the shoulders down. Take a breath, big breath in, and breathe it out. Feel that connection into the earth, feel grounded in your body. Breathe it in again. If you had tree roots at the start of the practice, come back to those tree roots. You're breathing in that tree's exhale, you're breathing out what the tree's going to inhale. We're going to do it again. We're going to breathe in, and then we're going to breathe out. And if it feels right to, bring your hands to the heart space, this time in our traditional namaskar. And many blessings everyone. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for joining all of us. Thank you for being part of a beautiful little community. And yeah, much love to everybody. Stay gentle to yourself.